Fun about this is we can treat it like I'm not worried about the door banging and making noise because we're just gonna have a fun episode and screw around. All right,
Let's do it.
And if something goes wrong, we're gonna own it. Hello, camera people, as if you didn't know I was here. Today on the Tom Kelly Show, I'm in Titusville, Florida, with my friend John Mulhall and his son Jr. And we're just gonna have fun today. I think this is an evergreen, goofy topic show with some old friends and. If you're watching this, you're like an old friend too. So let's start the show.
Tom Kelly Show. Everybody, I want you to go to the Tom Kelly Show. I want you all to know about the Tom Kelly Show.
JR doesn't even know the theme.
Keep that money coming. Keep that money.
There you go. And content warning, spoiler alert. Hi, neighbor. I'm going to take off my shoes because we're on the good sofa, and you are experiencing the Tom Kelly Show. If you smell sulfur wherever you are, that is not we're not burning in hell, people. No, that is the smell of John's new water heater.
Yes.
Okay. Can we explain everybody about this? Is what your dream apartment in many ways?
No, this we bought this as that's supposed to be the retirement place. I mean, granted, we're still 20 years from retiring, but want to plan ahead. And I think it was supposed to be a rental property, but darn it, we like it. You sit on the balcony, you look out at the water, manatees swim by, dolphins swim by.
You see manatees and dolphins here?
Heck yeah!
Oh my gosh, you're totally. Oh, we should almost you're in this weird spot of should we tell people about Titusville and make people come and make it grow?
Yes.
Or okay, because you already bought in, you're in. That's why you're in. See, I'm afraid of ruining it because this place reminds me of what I loved about Weeki Wachee back in 2006 before they started building all those damn Walmarts. Now you're okay because you have waterfront property.
Right, yeah, and the Walmarts are already built. They're down on the highway.
Oh, they are?
Yes. So
because there's a cute downtown that you took me by, and it feels like what you think real Florida is. Like you have like a couple of artsy places, and then you had a real tattoo shop that looked like a real tattoo shop. It was at nighttime. Everybody had a beard down to here, and I mean, we went to, what was the name of the food place we went to?
Lloyd Have Mercy.
Lloyd Have Mercy.
And this is free advertising right there. Lloyd Have Mercy.
At which there's one in Titusville, and then there's one opening in Orlando at Deezerville. God damn it, Deezerland, which is like the mall, the creepy mall turned auto museum that I did a TikTok on with John. So anyway, but the best soul food I've ever had in my life. And when we went in there, describe the people. There were two sets of people giving recommendations. You described one of them.
Well, you get to the door, you open it. We're polite. These are older family. As people are walking up, get the meatloaf. Gotta have the meatloaf. Best food you're gonna have. Get the meatloaf.
And it was just funny. It was like one group of people giving recommendations were like elderly people right off the retirement bus.
Right.
And like walkers and all saying, get the meatloaf. Then as we were trying to figure out what to order, there were two families.
Yep.
And the dads looked like, bikers fresh out of Myrtle Beach, fresh out of January 6th, whatever you want, like whatever joke you want to make, beards down to here, but kind smiles, like cuddly bikers, like cuddly guys who killed somebody but regret it. But they regret it. And God bless them, good people. And they said, get the meatloaf, get this. But it was like you went into the restaurant and you really felt like you were family there, which was kind of fun. Yeah. And I hope, does the whole town feel that way?
It's got a lot of that small town charm. For me, it was just, this is my first real experience living in a multi-story apartment building. So just the whole riding the elevator with neighbors and
okay, because we're in a condo.
Yes. So yes, six-story condo, 10 units on each floor. But yeah, you live in a house. You almost have to make some effort to interact with your neighbors. Like you have to be at the mailbox when they're walking the dog, and then you have to make the conscious decision of am I gonna like turn and say hey neighbor, or am I just gonna open my mailbox, look in, grab
and see that's what I do in New York City.
Right. Yeah. So, but here, you push the button. Someone walks up. Oh, you hold the door for them. It's all nice, and like, oh, well, now I have to converse with you. Now we're gonna.
Yeah. What I hate about this place Is what I think.
I hate this place.
But I found my dream apartment, but it's not near anything I want to do or anybody I love, except for you. You know, which is kind of just annoying. Every time, like, it's got the waterfront view that I need. It's got friendly people of different kind of ilks. Anyway, I like the town.
And
we're rambling a bit.
You're at the and then the rocket launches. That's what you.
Oh, and then you're right. And then you have a view of the Kennedy Space Center here, so we can watch all the SpaceX things go up.
Right.
All right, there you go. So, folks, Titusville, Florida, invest now. All right, let's have some fun. You know what? I'm going to speed to the game part of the show. Take this. Ready? So do you know that there's an unauthorized biopic of Richard Simmons coming out? Have you been following Richard Simmons lately?
I saw the headline that there's a biography coming. Did not know that it was unauthorized. That makes it a little underground and naughty.
Naughty. And
naughty.
Now, naughty. Oh, God, naughty is a word that makes me feel creepy, huh? Like, say it again.
Naughty.
No, okay, now you're making me really feel creepy. Do it the first way.
Naughty.
Yeah, it's still an icky word. So, Richard Simmons, he went into hiding. Mm-hmm. At one point, for a guy who was famous on TV every 2 minutes, for a guy whose picture is next to the definition of overexposed in Wikipedia, he basically said, I don't want to be in the public life anymore. He disappeared so much that people thought he was dead and someone faked his murder and someone stole his money. None of those things happened. He just doesn't want to be around people anymore. We don't know why. We don't know whatever. So then what do you do to somebody who's agoraphobic? You make a biopicture about them. And so it's apparently there's going to be a Richard Simmons movie. It's not authorized, and it's starring Pauly Shore. Not Encino Man himself, Biodome himself.
No, to dig up the old past that Tommy and I share. Pauly Shore is best known for playing Quinnipiac College the year after Norm MacDonald.
Oh my gosh! Wait, so I graduated by then. So he was
okay.
what? He was the May weekend comedian the year after. So there was, long story short, Norm MacDonald. Actually, we should probably do the Norm MacDonald incident.
I can't believe that we haven't already.
Well, I have. So you were in the room for the Norm MacDonald.
I was in the room, yeah.
So I'll tell my version of the story, and then you could correct it with facts. There's a famous story. So if you guys are old comedy fans, Norm MacDonald, he was, on Weekend Update. He was a Saturday Night Live comedian. He was a comedian's comedian, blah, blah, blah. And then he kind of did a lot of OJ jokes. He may or may not have been drunk or high on the job. And he got fired from SNL.
If you watch the older seasons of the Orville, he's the voice of the slime.
Yeah, he made little cameos here and there, and he did a couple of stand-up specials that were great. And I loved his Netflix talk show. It was hit or miss. It was 70% miss, but the 30% hits were worth it. Like if you're a Norm MacDonald fan. But he gets fired from Saturday Night Live.
Yep.
And where is his first public appearance still scheduled, but our sleepy New England University, Quinnipiac College, that now University, Hamden, Connecticut. He goes out there, and a guy, Scott Papacuri, opened for him.
I think that was.
There's a whole side story on Scott Papacuri. Scott Papacuri was a big Long Island comedian who got a radio show in Connecticut. And the way I was interning at Conan O'Brien at this point. I couldn't get into the Norm MacDonald show. I was drunk outside the building at this point, missing the whole damn thing. They paid Norm $30,000 to perform, and Scott Papacuri killed, right?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Funny.
as an opener, as a warm-up comic, I mean, got the crowd energized, ready to go.
There we go. JR, get in on a close-up on your father, because we're going to ask him to tell the story. You're in the room. Mm-hmm. The way I was told the story was Norm goes out, crowd, they loved Scott Papacuri. Norm comes out, crowd's going crazy, right?
Oh yeah.
And then Norm goes, what? Joke number one.
Oh, if my recollection, it took him a while even to get to that point.
Really?
Yeah, he just, it was like he didn't know why he was there or what he was there for. And
now years later, because we know Norm, so the way I was told the story, I'll do the fast version. Norm goes out, crowd loves him. He goes, joke number one, ba-da-ba, 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 kind of gets a laugh. Then it's like, joke number two, ba-da-ba, 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 gets less a laugh. And then joke number three, ba-da-ba, 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 nothing. And then he goes, joke number four, and someone yells out, you suck! and then he loses the crowd. Is that close to at least the anecdotal?
Again, my recollection was more he got into the joke one, joke two stuff because the crowd had already turned on him.
Because he was trying to do what, the turtle sandwich joke.
Oh, and I think that was sort of the icing on the cake. So I'll just my recollection is he kind of came out, was stumbling, slurring a little bit, not visibly drunk or high. And I'm granted, it's a entertainer, you half expect,
Okay.
not, no offense, but not expecting all comedians to always be drunk or high, but a large percentage of them. That's
Let me have another sip of my beer during my live podcast. Tell me more.
But and just was just drag and just kind of like going on and on about nothing. And we held on for a while as the crowd because that's his thing. It's dry humor. He when he was on his game would go, have the 5-minute dry buildup. I don't know where he's going, and then just nail you with the funniest punchline ever. Like that.
But it was build up and no launch.
Yeah, and it was just build.
Now,
And
it has been said that he might have been a bit of that. Let's face it, Quinnipiac was a very white school, very lacrosse bros, whatever we want to whatever word we want to use. Was the crowd douchey and sabotaged him, or was he that bad?
It was a snowball. He was bad, and again, especially considered after the energy of Scott Papagurti, the crowd started to react negatively. So he started playing negative as well, and that's where the turtle joke came in. Is all right, you want a joke? You want a joke? I'll give you a joke. Here comes a joke. You guys want a joke? Here comes a joke. Here's joke number 1. Are you ready for joke number? I'm gonna give you a joke. Here's a joke, and talks about a guy goes to a pet shop and gets a turtle, but then I thought it was roast beef on a hard bun.
And I know, and
that's more laughter than
no,
he got in the room.
but I'm laughing at it because I only just heard the roast beef joke years later. Like I only realized what it was years later because I'm in Norm MacDonald algorithm on YouTube. Like there will be a Norm MacDonald, now that he's gone, I guess I watched so much Norm MacDonald the day he died that I have been stuck in Norm MacDonald algorithm ever since he passed. Now, eventually he gets booed off the stage.
Pretty much, yeah.
And now this is all hearsay, but there's somebody who's supposed to give him a check for 25 to 35 grand after he gets off stage. I was told the student advisor just said, Scott, take that check and leave the building so that way you're not tempted to give it to anybody. And then Scott Papagurti's backstage. The crowd is rioting and yelling. And somewhere along the lines, there's arguments, or not arguments, there's a negotiation. And I've heard this part of the story from Scott Papagurti, which was he was negotiating for extra money to go back on stage and to stop a riot. And I think somewhere along the line, and this guy, Scott Papagurti, was on the way up and just didn't launch. And big ending is he gets an extra 15 grand to go stop Quinnipiac kids from rioting and burning down the campus, and apparently killed again. Norm, this now makes headlines. Norm calls us all, white douchebags. We're all idiots, blah, blah, blah. And this guy, Scott Papagurti, he's getting discovered by Entertainment Tonight. Access Hollywood, if that was even a thing back then. Whatever it is, he's getting some heat. And this guy, Scott Papagurti, later, kind of somewhat famously, had his own struggles with drug and alcohol. Without getting too into it, I may have once gone to an open mic night that went to his going back to jail party.
Whoa. Okay.
And now you heard what crucial words did you hear in that sentence?
Going back.
Going back to jail party.
Wow.
But incredibly talented guy. And I just always thought it was weird that those, there he was, his high moment was on this other guy's moment of drugs and alcohol, but yet he still had some sort of a slide down, if not a bigger slide down himself.
And it's, you read the Entertainment Weekly recaps and whatnot, and was he playing a college campus? Yes. Was it on the biggest party weekend of the? Yes. So was there again, percentage-wise, not saying that every Quinnipiac student on May weekend was inebriated, but let's just say more than 51%.
I mean, all I know for sure was it was a Friday night show. I had interned at Conan, got up there, and I was already like, I don't know if I was too drunk or just didn't get a ticket.
If I recall the Tom Kelly side of it, it was got there late, couldn't get a ticket, was drunk, and drunk, tired, just in general, pissy mood,
which sums up the theme of the podcast.
Right.
Drunk, tired, in a pissy mood. Tom Kelly getting back to fun in 2024.
But how we got here though was the next year. I mean, Pauly Shore walked on stage, said, "Hi, I'm Pauly Shore," and just that by itself, the crowd erupted in laughter.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of these spring weekends, it's all about star power and celebrity, which brings me back to I guess it's funny. Like, you knew me at the beginning, the beginning. You're part of the prequel. You're the prequel, and then you're right. There's a pre-prequel.
What? I'm what? The Phantom Menace.
You're my Phantom Menace.
I'm the Phantom Menace.
You're my Phantom Menace. But what's funny is listen, I had a cable access Letterman kind of show. I wanted to be the guy. And, there are just these stories of these guys who are the guy self-destructing. But what's funny about those college weekends of being a celebrity is there's sometimes, I'm trying to find a different example so I don't step on toes we both know. You just had to go out and say, "I'm Pauly Shore," and then ride the wave.
Yeah.
And not screw it up. Norm, all he had to do was say, "I'm Norm MacDonald," and not screw it up. And he still screwed it up. But which brings me to Richard Simmons now, who at some point in his life said, what is it, 19 already? 15. Okay, thank you. All right, well, totally a different show than what I planned.
Now I'm having another college flashback. That's this one of our Mike Fox with his cinnamon sticks and his stretch it. Always just, whenever he had to direct, just over animated
stage managing.
I wasn't even on that shoot. I saw that from the dorm room. Okay,
Yeah. So back to me. Big ending is Richard Simmons gave up the fame, and now they're just making a move. And once he gave it up, once nobody wanted to see him, now everybody wants to see him again.
But I just feel like in this the TikTok, social media going viral world, could he have survived? And not in the sense of would he have been successful, or would he just that quickly become the butt of the jokes?
So I'll tell you a funny story about Richard Simmons. I think he enjoyed being the butt of the joke because he made money off the back end. But at a certain point, when you're not making money on the back end, those jokes start to hurt. I don't mind. Like I used to say, I actually said it to Neil Patrick Harris once, and I've given this speech to a couple of celebrities I've worked with when I would do warm-up is, "Listen, man, I don't mind you making fun of me being sweaty, sloppy, or whatever. The only way to hurt my feelings is to say I'm not funny. And other than that, do what you got to do." And I could imagine at a certain point when you're used to going out and being ridiculous, you don't get to know the deeper side of him. Like, here's a deep side. I'm not going to say the name of the producer. But when I was working at Rosie, there was a producer who was struggling with weight loss. And he genuinely tried to adopt this woman. Off camera, no fanfare. And I don't know what I haven't seen this person in 20 years. Very kind person who was very good to me. But Richard Simmons would actually call her. Actually, and I guess there was one point where Richard Simmons calls on his limousine car phone and says, "Yeah, the limousine's outside of 30 Rockefeller Plaza." And he genuinely was kind to this woman, genuinely cared about this woman. Now, granted, she was Rosie O'Donnell adjacent. But I mean, there was one story where Richard Simmons took this woman for a ride for a few blocks. He's like, I want pizza. Pull over. We're going to get some pizza. He pulls over. He gets pizza. He has one bite and throws the rest of the slice out. Says, "There you go. I satisfied the craving, but I knew to stop." But anyway, he was a caring guy.
As someone who cannot get a good slice of New York pizza around here, that story hurt my soul.
That you could just throw out a slice of pizza. Because we're in Florida. Florida does not have good pizza. Big ending is, I guess what I find interesting is he achieved in some ways so much of what comedians like me want. Millions, made a fool of himself, but made money off it. And you're right, at a certain point. All right, we're going to go over. Thank you, JR. 1 minute to go. Our floor manager, director, camera team, switcher operator has told us we're over. But to keep this show on time, Pauly Shore, a man who probably never got the fame he wanted, is doing a movie about a guy who doesn't want any more fame. One is an 80s icon, one is a 90s icon, and we're going to play a quick game to close out the show. Richard Simmons or Pauly Shore? And the answer is Richard Simmons or Pauly Shore. He gained fame with Sweatin' to the Oldies.
Richard Simmons.
Correct. He was an Encino Man.
Pauly Shore.
His birth name is Milton Teagle.
Richard Simmons.
Correct. Richard's name at birth was Milton Teagle Simmons. And in fact, Pauly Shore's full name at birth was Paul Montgomery Shore. All right, next question. He was born February 1st, 1968 in Hollywood, California, USA.
Pauly.
Pauly, don't add on your fingers. Richard Simmons was born in 1948 in New Orleans. He hosted a talk show in the late 1980s.
Pauly.
Richard Simmons.
What?
Fact, Richard Simmons hosted the Emmy Award-winning talk show, The Richard Simmons Show, in the late 80s. He rose to fame as an MTV VJ in the late 80s and early 90s, hosting shows like Totally Pauly.
Pauly.
That's right!
Hey, I'm so smart.
He appeared on the reality show Dancing with the Stars in 2007.
Richard.
Correct, though Pauly Shore did it in 2008. Tough question.
Ooh, trick question.
Often portrayed the character the Weasel in his comedy routines and movies.
Pauly.
Yes, can you do the Weasel?
No.
Me neither. His mother, Mitzi, owned the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, where he grew up around comedians.
Pauly.
Correct. He hosts a podcast titled Random Rants.
Pauly.
I mean, which pretty much hosting a podcast is not the way to be anonymous, unless you're on the Tom Kelly Show. That's a straight-to-camera joke for those of you listening. Okay. He opened the Slimmons Studio in Beverly Hills.
God, I want that to be Pauly just to be twisted and off the wall.
But it's
Richard.
That's right. One of his projects was named Biodome.
Pauly Shore.
Oh my gosh, yes. Biodome is a 1996 comedy starring Pauly Shore and Stephen Baldwin, in which they find themselves accidentally sealed in a high-tech biodome experiment and wreak comedic havoc on the environment. He created Deal a Meal.
Richard Simmons.
And my friends, the first 100% ever on a Tom Kelly Show
Ding,
contest.
ding, 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 ding.
All right, you know what? I would love to continue. I have like a list of 20 other topics I wanted to do with you, but we diverged, and we diverged beautifully. And I'm getting the Wrap It Up single from your your slave driver son over here. So listen, quick magic mirror moment, people. We're going to close out the show with this magic mirror. I would love to say quick hello to Fanny. Fanny from Massapequa. Fanny, get your ass out of here. This kid Todd Steinhaus said that to a girl Fanny in 8th grade, and I thought that was the funniest thing ever. And not working with the Mulhalls. All right, listen, people, comment where you can comment, show love where you can show love. Until next time, good night, Titusville.